All right, so we are here with Murphy Troy in Poland right now. So, Murphy, can you go ahead and let us know, for those who haven't really kept up, where have you been since you left USC?
So this is my fourth year playing professional volleyball. My first 2 years were spent in Italy. So 2011, 2012, and 2012, 2013, I was in a team called Latina. It's the name of a city just about an hour south of Rome. Um, really enjoyed it there. And then the season after that, last year, I was in France, in a small city called Saint Nazaire. It's in sort of the northwest of France. And then after a good season there, I came here to Poland. Now I'm in Gdansk, also known as Danzig.
All right, so you're there, you're playing for Anastasi. What's been your experience there in Poland? Because I know when you were in Latina, you're in Saint Nazaire, it seemed like you guys were in like struggles to make the playoffs. And I know in Italy they kind of change how they do their playoffs every year, but you guys are kind of around that 8-9 position to where now you're in Poland, you're fighting for the top spot in the table. So what's been like the experience this year in Poland, and how has it been different from your last 3 years playing professionally?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's been a lot different. So let's see if I could kind of go. So in Italy, like you said, we are always sort of around that 8-9 spot, somewhere in there. But really, when I was there, the 2 seasons I was there each year, there were about, I would say, four teams that were very strong, leading the pack, kind of head and shoulders above the other teams. And then after that, there was a group of about seven teams that were all really close. And both seasons, I think we could have ended up anywhere from 5 to 10. And I think my first season we finished eighth, and my second we finished seventh, and that was a lot of fun there because it was really competitive. And then you got to play these four teams that were just like some of the top teams in Europe, um, but usually didn't end up well for you. And then my second season in France, or my third season when I was in France, things were very different because I think literally top to bottom, um, anyone could beat anyone. You had Tour, who was very good and who ended up winning the league and lost. I don't know, maybe only a couple matches, but they weren't blowing teams away. It was a lot of close matches. And my team, we had a lot of injury problems, especially the first half of the season. We played a couple games with our backup setter as an outside hitter, so that hurt us, and we ended up finishing 10th and missing the playoffs. And I feel like we could have done better had we stayed healthier, but who knows? And then this year, we just had an amazing start. Started off 8-0. We got some great players, and here in the Polish league, I think there really are right now. I would say two clear top teams in the league, and that's Skra Belhatov, who we just played,
Hmm.
and then Asseco Resovia, who we're playing this week. Those are two teams. They got some big name players from all around Europe, from a couple American guys on Resovia, and other than that, I would say it's a very even league again. And we've been fortunate enough to sort of separate ourselves, I think, sort of into that area of top 4 or 5 teams that are all able to compete. And that makes it a lot of fun. Um, it feels good to be on a team to know that, we can compete with the best teams, and, there's literally nothing holding us back to, potentially winning a title here.
So what took you from Italy to France? You went, like I said, you went from the Serie A1 was called then. You had some of the best teams in Europe. You ended up in France, a different league, a lot more competitive from top to bottom, like you said. But sometimes looking at your stat sheets, it's almost like you were playing in Korea, where they gave you like 50 balls a game. It seemed like. Like what took you from Italy to France, and then what kind of opportunities led themselves to you to make it over to the Plus Liga?
Well, there are a couple things that led me to France. one of them. So I had finished up. I was finishing up my 2-year contract. I was in the second year of a 2-year contract in Italy, and I was looking at other options. And I have an agent. He's an Italian agent, and we were talking about different leagues that I could possibly play in, just to see what was out there. And I loved Italy and would love to stay. But there were a couple problems with Italy, and one was that Italy it's a great league, but it's a disorganized league. And when I say that, I mean, teams typically put their rosters together for the next season during the spring. France is very organized, and they're one of the earliest leagues to start going out and getting players signed for the next season, and that typically happens, as early as March, sometimes, usually March into April. Italy, it almost never happens until the end of April or early May.
Mm-hmm.
So here I was sort of finishing out my season in Latina, getting calls from some French teams, and still the Italian, general managers, coaches, whatever, hadn't even figured out what their rosters were going to look like for the next year. And so I had to sort of make some decisions early. Also, the Italian league, it's still a great league. They still have a lot of great players, but it's definitely taken a couple steps back in the last few years. I think they don't quite have the money that they used to, and they're not quite putting together the same strength of teams that they were. And, I wasn't sure at that point if I don't get on one of the, say, top half teams in the league, what's the state of those second half teams going to be? Are they going to be financially okay? Are they going to be able to put together a good team? And just a lot of unknowns, And so I had this good situation offered to me in France, and another positive of going to the French league was that I knew I would be going in a situation where I'd be getting a lot of sets every game, where I could sort of be the guy. And I wanted that, to sort of, get some more good game experience to improve my skills, and also to sort of, put my name out there a little bit more. If teams could see that I was getting 25 kills a match, and hopefully that would help me resume-wise and get more teams to take a look at me.
And you were playing with Levi Cabral last year, right? Was he on your team as well?
Yeah, Levy and I.
And you guys both ended up in Poland this year, right?
That's right.
Uh-huh. Now, when you came over, you're playing Resovia this weekend. Now, you obviously, like you said, you had a great 8-0 start. Then you had 2 losses. One was probably a shock, and the other one, to Skra, you guys had almost came back being down 0-2 to take them 5. How did the team and how the coaching staff respond to those 2 setbacks? I mean, is it still pretty positive going into the match of the league leaders this week?
I think it's definitely still positive. We got a good atmosphere on the team. We got some good guys who are willing to work hard, and I don't think it's really set us back too much. If you look at the 2 losses we've had, the one against Leuven was a surprise for sure, but at the same time, they are a good team, and that's sort of the parity of this league. A lot of good competitive teams. If you look at that game, they played very, very well. They actually didn't make one hitting error in the whole match, and so it was kind of one of those games where everything went right for them and nothing went right for us. Not saying that we didn't control that, but we'd have a play where we get them on the run in transition, and then we make a hitting error, or they give us a free ball and we can't do anything with it or something, and just small things that led to missed points here and there. And I think we lost that second set, 25-23 or something, that we had them at the end of that set and just kind of threw it away. And then, played against Skra last week, and like I said, they're one of the top teams in Europe.
Yeah.
They got some really good players, some Polish players who just won the World Championships. And, being down 0-2 and coming back against them at their place, I thought was huge. If you would have told us after that second set that we would take a point from them, I would have said, hell yeah, we'll take it. So it kind of sucks because we ended up doing so well. We had a match point on them in the fifth, but they were able to, in typical fashion, come out of it. And so I think after those two matches, are obviously hungry for another win again, but we're not really disheartened, I would say.
That's good. Yeah, because then you're playing the league leaders, and well, they are the league leaders because you guys took that point off of Skra. I know I saw that. Was it? I think didn't you tell Paul Lotman, you're welcome, and he's responded back like, thanks, we're going to join first place for right now. I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
Do you talk to the guys from America a lot over there? I know like Bulldogs over there, AJ Nolly, Russell Holmes. Do you keep in touch with those guys quite a bit over there?
I try to keep in touch with as many people as I can. It's been another difference about the Polish League this year. It's been crazy busy this year for me. We're playing 2 matches a week, which I'm not really, haven't really done since the college days.
Yeah.
And at the same time, our coach really likes to practice, so we don't get too much time off. But obviously I see these guys when I play them, and I try to talk to them here and there. And like you said, I talk with Levy, who I played with last year, and I talk with AJ a little bit, and Paul and Russ. And keeping up with other guys in different leagues is a little bit tougher because you always got to sort of find out what they're doing, who they're playing, when they're playing, and
yeah.
But we do our best, and I think we do a pretty good job.
All right. So what's probably the most difficult part? You've been overseas for 4 years. What's the most difficult part about being a professional volleyball player in Europe?
As great as it is to be able to travel and see Europe and live in Europe, I mean, living outside the U.S. for such a long period of time definitely gets tough. You're spending so much time away from your family, your girlfriend, your friends, and you have to miss a lot of birthdays and weddings and that kind of stuff. So I think that's just the toughest part, is that you miss out on all this stuff going back at home for 7-8 months of the year.
And when you go back home, are you still like in the Midwest or back east, or do you set up shop out in California because you're training with the national team? Like, where's home for you when you come back to the States?
Yeah, so right now I'd have to say home is California, because I come back and I'm training with the national team pretty much right away up until the time I leave. I try to get to go home to St. Louis for about a week a year, and even that can be a stretch. Some years I haven't been able to make it, so I try to make it work. But also, my girlfriend's living in California too. She's in Newport Beach, which is right near where we train with the national team, so that works out great. So I've been living, I've stayed with her family a couple summers after college, and then now I get to see her all the time. I rented an apartment last summer, and she was working down in Orange County, and so it's perfect.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thanks again for talking with us and let us kind of know what's going on with your season and stuff. Good luck this week. I know you have, like I said, the league leaders. You have 2 guys you play with all summer on the other side of the net. I know that has to be a fun experience. You guys are playing at home, right?
Yeah, we're playing at home. We're actually playing in a different gym. It's funny because our arena, we're hosting Disney on Ice this weekend, and so we're kicked out of the gym for a week.
So is it a bigger arena or smaller arena?
It's a little bit smaller. So the one we usually play in is huge. It's like 10 or 11,000 people. But this other one is only going to be about 4 to 5, something like that.
It's probably going to be a great atmosphere in there. I think so. Is that going to be televised as well?
Yes, it should be.
All right.
Yeah, so it's on. I know it's on TV here, and I think any game that's on TV here usually gets put online on the streams.
Yeah, that's what I normally find. Like if it's on Polstat, you can usually find some link to it somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you talking to us. I remember back when I was coaching elementary school ball years ago, you were a freshman. You went into Poly, and you guys swept them. And then I had like a couple fifth graders saying, man, I watched USC, and that Murphy Troy is a stud. And one of those guys actually playing at Ohio State right now. So, you've made impressions with a lot of those younger players, and I appreciate you taking the time. And, good luck this weekend, man. Murphy Troy, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Blair. And hey, thanks for putting all this together. You know, my parents and my girlfriend all started following you on Twitter and checking out the updates on your blog. And I just showed it to Matt Furbringer, the assistant coach for the national team, and he's stoked on it too. So thanks a lot.
Oh, it's good to hear, man. You're welcome. Thanks.